Hey guys, this is the mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to briefly share my thoughts about something that a few people have asked me to address pertaining to Martell and Melody going on a family vacation together. There's a video of them trying to put out the smoke alarm. I think Tank was recording them. Okay, by and large, I am happy that the children get to see their parents together. In a co-parenting, cordial situation where they're not arguing and fighting like cats and dogs in front of the children or around the kids. I'm so happy to see that the energy between Martell and Melody was not as tense, because children can sense when their parents are not fucking with each other. And that's just as uncomfortable as the parents being separate in two separate households. So I did like to see the interaction between Martell and Melody be less tense or less combative. That was nice, okay? I also love the fact that Sugar Mama can see her parents together, right? Martell kept having his affair with Arion and cheating with multiple women after Melody had their fourth child. So Martell got Arion pregnant 3 months after Melody had their fourth child. Melody did not leave the home because of that. She left the home because Martell basically revealed to her at that time that he had no intention to stop cheating, even though he just had his fourth baby with his wife, who he encouraged to reconcile with him in order to bring their family back together and lure her back into this trap. He thought that Melody having another baby would keep her stuck to the situation. So he was wrong. Okay, I want to start off by saying this. My opinion does not matter. My feelings about the situation does not matter. Melody has her own life. Martell is her ex-husband. They share 4 children together, right? 4 young children, okay? Sugar Mama's only 2 years old. And I don't think she remembers her parents being in the same household together as husband and wife. She was too young to experience that. So I'm very happy for the children that this is happening. I'm very, very happy for the kids. Very happy for the babies, okay? I am happy if Melody is okay with the situation, right? If Melody's okay with Martell being in her life as the co-parent to her children, then that is great. That means that Martell is not disrespecting her, right? I am happy for Melody. I'm happy for the kids. But I am not happy for Martell. Okay? Martell is the father of Melody's 4 children. However, Martell, in my opinion, was so disrespectful to Melody that it is difficult for me to stomach seeing him around her at all. But again, my opinion doesn't matter. My opinion does not matter, right? It's not about me. It's not about the audience or the fans or Team Melody or Team Martell. It's not about anybody but their nuclear family, right? It's not about us. However, I understand how narcissists operate. And I've always mentioned that my channel was about teaching women how to navigate through narcissistic relationships. Okay? I'm not saying that Melody's reconciling with Martell. I don't think that she has, romantically anyway. However, narcissists use their children as a wedge to get back into the good graces of their primary supply, right? Or their old supply that they're trying to hoover. I wouldn't be surprised if Martell has some female waiting in the wings and he's using Melody to triangulate, right? To emotionally triangulate with Melody. Not that Melody is a party to this, or not that Melody would be aware of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Martell has another woman that he's dating, which is fine. That's his business. He's single. But in order to not fully engage and invest in that relationship, he's going to play Melody in the middle, right? To keep the other woman, the main supply at this point, on her toes. This happens all the time in narcissistic relationships. A few weeks ago, Melody talked about the fact that she was tired of feeling used by people. And I don't know if I shared my thoughts about her statements. She said she was tired of feeling used. She felt isolated in a way. And, she felt like she would be alone. Well, essentially, she was asking herself, would she be alone for the rest of her life because she can't trust the people around her? And if I hadn't said already, what I wanted to say to that statement was everybody gets used. Everybody gets used at some point. Friends, family, relatives, co-workers, spouses, right? Everybody gets used. But the key is to be around people who will use you in a way that is in alignment with your objectives, right? You don't want to be used against your own best interests. So the concern I have in this situation is that Martell is a user. And I know that Melody has developed a lot of discernment. She's developed a lot of insight and wisdom. But I'm going to use this situation as an opportunity to talk to other women who are in similar situations, right? I don't think Melody's reconciled with her ex. I don't think that she wants Martell back, okay? But, narcissists use their children to get back in close with their ex as a source of supply, right? I'm not saying that Martell doesn't love his kids and doesn't want to spend time with them. But Martell is the type to say, we have kids together. We have to do better as parents. After abusing Melody and disrespecting her publicly and doing so intentionally for the duration of their entire marriage, right, of over 10 years, he will be the one to say, we have to co-parent for the sake of the children, which is correct, right? And Melody, because she's the mother, she's now charged with being the bigger person for the sake of having a healthy co-parenting relationship with a man who has abused her since the beginning of their relationship. Now, the abuse may not have been overt. It could have been covert, because cheating is a form of covert abuse, in my opinion, too. So if Martell was doing things behind Melody's back and she didn't know it, that's still a form of abuse, right? Because it's deceptive to go behind someone's back and do things that they would not like if they knew about them. But I'm going to say this again. This is not my business. This is not the audience's business. My feelings about the matter are irrelevant. My thoughts about the matter are irrelevant because Melody has to do what is best for herself and her children, right? I don't want to project my expectations onto her because that's not fair. Okay, just like I don't want to project my expectations onto Tisha because that's not fair to her either. I always say it is Tisha's right to hold on to her husband and try to maintain her family. I always say that. The same thing with Melody. Melody has the right to try to foster a healthy co-parenting relationship with Martell. Okay? It is both of their responsibility to do this, and if Martell is extending the olive branch to Melody, then I wouldn't be surprised if she would take the olive branch for the sake of having a healthy co-parenting relationship. My concern is that narcissists use people for reasons that they may not be in support of. For example, I wouldn't be surprised if Martell is dating another woman besides Ariane and is emotionally and psychologically triangulating with Melody to keep his new supply, his new girlfriend, or old supply, Ariane, in check. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if Martell is now using his newfound relationship with Melody to manipulate future partners, future girlfriends, current girlfriends, right? And that may not be the way that Melody wants to be used. I'm not saying that's happening now. I'm not saying that's happening. But because I am using this situation between Melody and Martell to teach women about narcissistic relationships, this is something that takes place, right? Narcissists will try to rekindle or try to reconcile or try to be friendly or cordial with you to sow seeds of doubt and paranoia and suspicion in the minds of their new supply, okay? I'm not saying that that's what Martell is doing, but that is what narcissists tend to do. So when I first saw this story a few hours ago, I made a comment basically stating that I'm very happy for the children, but I can't stand Martell. However, as long as Martell is respecting Melody's boundaries, I am happy that they are building a healthy co-parenting relationship. A few weeks ago, Melody complained about being alone, right? About feeling like she couldn't trust anybody because people are going to use her. And like I said earlier, everybody gets used. I'm hoping that Melody does nothing for Martell outside of co-parenting for their kids. I hope Melody does not help Martell with his businesses. And I hope Melody does not do anything for Martell while they're divorced, right? That he could not appreciate while they were married, okay? So the things that Martell took for granted while he was married to Melody, I hope she's not doing anything of the sort for him now. Why do I say this? Because again, Martell, he has showed remorse. He had said he was sorry. He said he was sorry, right? But would Martell feel as sorry or be as remorseful if he didn't need Melody for something? If Martell was back on top, right? Back to where he was when he was married to Melody. He was successful. He had money coming in. He had businesses thriving and things like that. Would he be as remorseful? Is he only remorseful because he needs Melody now? And you have to always take that into consideration when you're dealing with narcissists. But like I said, I'm not going to project my emotions about the situation onto Melody because there really is no wrong or right way to go about this. Melody has 4 young children with this man, so it is in the children's best interest that Melody and Martell have a healthy co-parenting relationship. Unfortunately, Martell is a narcissist, and narcissists use people, so now Melody will be tested. Everything she's learned over the past 10, 12 years of their relationship, 14 years even, of their relationship will be put to the test within the next few months. We're going to see if Martell reveals his true colors a few months later. Right? When he thinks that Melody's guard is down, okay? When he has, massaged her heart a little bit, right? Because the painful memories, they don't go away, but they do dull in intensity, especially if you're trying to replace those bad memories with good ones, right? So if Martell spends the next several months trying to butter up Melody and being nice to her, and being the way he was towards her when he was trying to reconcile with her, when he had no intention of stopping his affair, right? If he is doing that for 6 months straight and he's consistent, right? Human beings are creatures of habit. Melody is going to start to expect that behavior from him, right? And if you expect someone to be nice to you, you're going to, in turn, more than likely be nice to them. And you're going to let your guards down, right? And you're going to do things that you may not have wanted to do with them, for them, in the months prior, because the memories of the pain were fresher. They were new. Now we are replacing the old memories with new ones that are better memories, right? And those better memories may remind Martell and Melody of the good times they had together. Like I said, Melody's a human being. And I don't think Melody is some sort of goddess creature, right? I don't think Melody's perfect, right? I don't think Melody is without flaw, okay? However, I don't think Martell deserves to even be around Melody at all. If he wasn't as deceptive as he was, he wouldn't even be in her space. Martell weaseled his way into Melody's life through deception. And I talked about Hades and Persephone a few weeks ago. Was it a few weeks ago or last week? My sense of time is horrible. Okay. You talked about Hades. And I mentioned the fact that Persephone was seduced. I mentioned the fact that Little Red Riding Hood was deceived, right? So the key weapon that narcissists use is to be beguiling and to be deceptive. Like I said, I hope I am wrong. And my opinion doesn't really matter. And my feelings don't really matter. And I'm really happy for the kids and for Melody if Martell is at least treating her with some level of respect so that she's not as anxious or as tense or as distrustful of him. I hope that he's genuinely turning a new leaf. I really, really do, for the sake of Melody and those kids. I really, 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 really do, honestly, right? And again, I'm going to say this for the 5th time. My opinion doesn't matter. I don't want anybody to take what I am saying and turn it into gospel, right? I don't think Melody is reconciling with Martell. If she did, that would be her business, but I don't think that's going to happen. However, in these situations, we're dealing with human nature and emotions, right? I don't think Melody wants to get back with him. I'm not even worried about that. I'm more so concerned that Martell would try to reconcile with her and then break her trust again. Because Melody may go around thinking, okay, it's been a few months from now, and Martell has been consistent with the kids. He's been consistent with his behavior towards me. Maybe we should do this again. Maybe we should go back into business again. Maybe we should, work on some project together. Maybe I can trust them with a 47-acre deal. Maybe, whatever the case may be. I don't want Melody to work with Martell on any project outside of raising their children. But my opinion doesn't matter. That's just me talking my shit on my platform, right? And I don't think she's wrong for co-parenting with the father of her child. I would like for people to stop wanting them to get back together, especially after finding out that Martell may have been cheating their entire relationship. Please stop fantasizing about this man who never deserved Melody in the first place. Please stop fantasizing that they get back together. Please don't project that onto them, right? Or onto Melody. Because again, that's not fair to her. She's went through a lot and she's done a lot to heal herself, which makes her more attractive to the narcissist Martell, right? If Melody ended up like Arion, needy, dependent, no finances, no status, no nothing, then Martell would want nothing to do with her. But because Melody is still an asset and she's the mother of his children, he would probably try to use that to bolster his own social status and his reputation, right? Again, I want him to do the right thing, but for the right reason. Don't do the right thing because you think that this will gain you favor with Melody so that she can help you with your businesses, or she can help you make money, or she can make your next woman, girlfriend feel insecure, or use her and act like that's the biggest accomplishment you have. Because a lot of narcissists, they use women as accomplishments. Look who my ex-wife is. I managed to bag her. I'm using her to bolster my self-esteem. Now, Melody can't help that because she was married to him for years and she's going to continue to be successful with or without him. I'm just concerned that his energy will change and shift into something a bit more insidious once he gets Melody to trust him again. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised because I have experience in these situations. I know firsthand how narcissists operate. In their mind, you are their property in perpetuity. So even if they're not going to strike at the moment that you expect them to, 6 months from now, a year from now, Martell breaks up with one of his girlfriends and he wants to lean on Melody for emotional support. And then he may start to do things or say things that would indicate that, he hasn't changed. I'm not going to get into specifics about this because, again, I have been through this before. I witnessed other people go through the same thing. It's not uncommon. However, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong about Martell, and Martell may have turned a whole new leaf. But I don't think so. However, Melody still has to raise babies with him. So, the best that we can do is to continue to support Melody, right? Give her encouragement for her businesses and for the platform she's created, and to use her story as a way to teach other women about narcissistic abuse, right? So for the last time, this is not my business, right? And I don't feel any kind of way about it. I'm happy for Melody. I'm happy for the kids, but I'm not happy for Martell because Martell does not deserve to even be around her, period. She was always too good for him. Not because Melody is some goddess creature, but because he's never respected her from day one. After everything she did for him, with him, by him, to him, right? After all this stuff, he turns around and uses her loyalty to him to try to destroy her. Someone like that I would never want to be around, but I don't have kids with Martell, right? So it's a tense situation. I hope that Melody has a strong support system around her to protect her from any opportunity that Martell may take to reconcile with her, because Martell never deserved her. But the children deserve to see their two parents together. It's always up to the women to be stronger and the bigger persons. But every time I turn around, men are saying that women are too weak and emotional to make the right decisions for their children. And in some instances, when you have stigmatized penis worshipping women, that is the case. However, in so many cases, women are cheated on and disrespected by their husbands, right? And they're now forced to be cordial and humane to these people who've disrespected them for the sake of the children. Melody has 4 kids by Martell. It is what it is. They have to do the best that they can to co-parent. And I'm happy that they're at this point where Melody can feel comfortable around him and not tense up and get anxious and be disgusted by the sight of him. I'm very happy that they're at that point. I hope it doesn't go any further into the romantic space or even the business space, because I feel like Martell would use Melody to get a leg up in business and then disrespect her and violate like he did before, right? Martell is petty and Martell is vindictive. If you can hold a grudge against your wife, right, to the point where you have an affair behind her back with someone that you allow to disrespect her, this is somebody who can hold a grudge and be vindictive and secretly vindictive for a long period of time. If you can have pillow talk with your mistress, talking shit about your wife while she's pregnant with your child, okay, you are a vindictive, wicked person. So if Martell went through an entire personality shift, then more power to him and the family. But narcissists never change. They don't. They learn how to temporarily adapt to new circumstances and situations that will give them the leverage to strike later on and do what they've always wanted to do, which was either get revenge or to use you or to sleep with you again or to hurt you or to whatever. It's never just about the olive branch. It's never just about making amends, right, with the person that they've harmed. No. Martell couldn't even honor his grandmother with a heartfelt speech at his soft launch for his wine company, right? And I thought that it was because, he felt stumped and embarrassed at the fact that he didn't want his uncle to share that moment with him. He didn't even invite him up to the stairs with him. But someone else mentioned, a few other people mentioned that Martell potentially didn't even want to name the wine after his grandmother. He just liked the name and just slapped it on the wine for sentimental value and to pull the heartstrings of women. He didn't have any heartfelt emotions about his grandmother, which was weird because he talks about his grandma all the time and how, not all the time, but he seems to be a family-oriented guy in the way that Miss Marlene and Martell was talking about grandma. He has a lot of feelings for her, so why couldn't he express those feelings? I think Martell, again, felt guilty about not inviting his uncle up there. He didn't want to share the glory with his uncle. So he was guilty, but his ego got in the way. Either way, right? That's my belief about the situation. But that just proves my point. Martell is not really connected to his heart chakra, right? Whatever happened to him, either he was spoiled or coddled, he's not able to connect with human beings on a human level because perhaps he was worshipped for the way he looked. Just like Ariane was worshipped for the way that she looks or valued for the way she looks. Martell and Ariane both wanted to be worshipped and praised and valued based on their physical appearance. That was their main commonality. How attractive am I to you? How attractive you are to me? We are attractive people. We should be appreciated for how we look, right? Not our values, not our integrity, not our morals, not our personality, not our gifts, not our skill sets, not our discipline, nothing. Just because I have nice hair and a nice body, I should be worshipped. Just because I'm handsome and have muscles, I should be put on a pedestal. That's why Martell and Ariane's relationship was primarily sexual and essentially like somatic narcissists. That's the only thing they talk about. So somebody who cannot connect with their heart chakra, someone who has no real true feelings about anyone or anything beyond how they can benefit them, essentially, they're not capable of showing true remorse or having true remorse for the person that they harmed. Martell misses what he lost. That's all. He doesn't miss Melody per se. He misses what he lost. He missed her being an asset in his life. He missed her being a personal assistant, a maid, a house cleaner, a breeder, a therapist, his best friend, his business partner, his wife, his homie, his road dog. He misses all of those aspects of herself that she brought to the relationship that made him feel better. But he never valued her as a person because he would not have disrespected her the way that he did if he did value her as a person, if he did appreciate those things about her in the first place. So now that it's gone, now you appreciate it. Like most of these dudes out here only appreciate shit when they don't have access to it anymore. He dogged this lady out too much. There's no way that she would go back with him. However, like I said, doesn't mean he won't stop trying. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if within 6 months or a year or even 2 years, because narcs can wait for 2, 3, 4, 5 years throughout the hoovering process. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if Martell at some point in the future tries to reconcile with Melody. He is laying the groundwork for that, in my opinion. The fact that he hasn't settled with anybody, the fact that he hasn't committed to Ariane, I mentioned this months ago. The fact that he has not committed to Ariane, and this has been now 2 years since Melody filed for divorce, right? They've been separated. The fact that he has not committed to Ariane to anything, no relationship, no girlfriend, nothing. They're not even dating. He doesn't even take her out in public for them to like be on social media to like share their moments together. Not that it's in our business. They can do what they want to do. But, yeah. The fact that it hasn't happened yet, Martell is leaving room for Melody. There was a research study that said that men never forget their first loves. Men never let go of the woman that broke their heart or the woman they feel like they lost, right? And they didn't want to lose. Martell didn't want to lose Melody. He didn't want to leave her. She left him. So that goes to show you that Martell still has a place in his heart for her romantically. This is why women should never date men on a rebound, ever, especially married men. So many married men get separated from their wives. They have their little fun. Then they miss their wife and their home and their family, and then they go back to the wife. Martell wanted to sow his wild oats with Ariane as long as he could, right? He didn't expect Melody to leave because, again, Martell took Melody for granted. He didn't see her value, so he didn't expect her to see the value in herself and to leave. That's what threw him off guard. If I don't value you, how dare you value yourself enough to not put up with my bullshit? I'm the prize here. You can't be the prize, because if you were the prize, then I wouldn't be cheating on you, right? You'd be satisfying me. You'd be doing everything that I want you to do. So when Melody said, no, I'm the valuable person in this relationship. I value myself more than I value you and this marriage. And she bounced. Martell began to see the value in Melody based on the deficit that it created in his life, right? It wasn't because of her not being there. It's because of the lack of what she brought to the table that wasn't there for him to access anymore. So Martell only misses Melody because of the hole she left in his life, not necessarily because of her as a person, because if he found another woman to fill that hole, to fill the void like Ariane did, he wouldn't give a damn about Melody. But it's very difficult to replace a Melody Holt, and she knew this, and he did not. So now he only values her again because of the lack that he has in his life, right? So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's plotting to reconcile with Melody now. But I trust Melody. And even if I didn't trust her, my opinion doesn't matter. My feelings don't matter. I'm just speaking to women who are in similar situations now. There are women out there who left a narcissist 4, 5, 6 years ago. And the narc is trying to tiptoe around now, trying to call more frequently, try to ask how you doing, try to come see you and hang out, acting like they care about the kids, right? They're doing things to try to create a wedge for themselves in your life now that they have lost a source of supply and they don't want to be by themselves. So they'll use you until they get their next supply or until they can reconcile with you, which is always only temporary because it goes back to the same old cycle again. You cannot be as disrespectful and deviant as Martell, in my opinion, and then be completely healed and whole and well without therapy after 1 or 2 years or 6 months. It's impossible. It's impossible. Like I said, I'm not saying that Martell's trying to reconcile with her right now. Like he's not trying to make the moves on her right now. I don't think so. But I wouldn't be surprised if he is putting the pieces together. He's setting the stage in the future. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay? But I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, why do I keep saying this? Because I know I'm going to hear somebody in the comment section saying, let them live. That's her husband. That's her this. That's her ex-husband. I'm not saying that Melody can't enjoy her life. I want her to enjoy her life. I want Martell to be a better person for the sake of Melody and the children. I don't want Melody to feel anxious and, tired and irritated at the sight of Martell anymore. I want her to be able to have an open and free and loving and affirming relationship with her ex-husband for the sake of her sanity and her mental peace and her emotional peace and the children as well. I would love for that to be the case. Love it. But I don't want them to reconcile because no way in hell. There's no way in hell that Martell's changed. right? And it's not just for Melody. I'm speaking to other women in the community as well who are thinking about reconciling with an ex because he's been nice for 6 months, even though he treated you like shit from the very beginning of the relationship. Do not consider reconciling with somebody who did not see your value, right, until they lost you, okay? Because sometimes they have to create situations where you threaten to leave them again, or they're threatened to lose you again, or they're at risk of losing you again in order to value you. So they'll keep you in a constant loop of bullshit and drama and trauma so that they can only value you when they're about to lose you. So if you keep threatening to leave, that's when they'll appreciate you. So they'll keep creating situations where you're threatening to leave. And that's usually toxic and bullshit, right? Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for listening. I look forward to reading your responses and feedback, okay? Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon.